again, good morning.
Good morning.
Carlos Alvarez, Vice President of Operations for XPEL.
What does that mean, Vice President of Operations?
Yeah, it really means ensuring our customers are taken care of.
I love that.
Bottom line.
How long have you been with XPEL?
7 years.
7 years. When were you hired?
December of 2017.
2017.
2017.
Walk me through the very first day that you were hired and who hired you.
So I'll take it back even further. I had been working for a company prior to joining XPEL as a director of operations in the medical device industry, and was miserable. And 6 months into me being employed at that company, I knew I had to get out. And I had a conversation with my wife. Said, "Honey, I don't know what we're going to do, but I cannot work here any longer." And by the grace of God, I saw an opening at XPEL. What is XPEL? I'd never heard of XPEL. And they had a position open for Director of Operations here in San Antonio. And I met with the recruiter and got my resume together. And I never forget, I interviewed with Ryan Pape, our CEO at the time, Barry Wood, our Chief Financial Officer, and Matt Moreau. And it was a unique interview, right? It was very casual, very laid back. And I remember Matt was in the room just watching me the whole time. And, he only asked me one question the entire interview, and it was in Spanish. He goes, "Hey, your resume says it's bilingual." He asked me a question in Spanish. "Do you speak Spanish?" I answered back in Spanish. He's like, "All right, I'm good," right? Barry, Ryan, take it away. And 4 months later, I joined XPEL. My first day at XPEL, I show up in a sports coat, khaki pants, and I go meet with Ryan, and I'm the only guy in the office wearing a sports coat, right? So party foul number one. I meet with Ryan for about 4 or 5 hours. We talk about what we need to get done, and then he says, "All right, see you later." "What do you mean, see you later?" It's like, "Yeah, go to the warehouse. Go meet your team. Go be the leader I hired you to be." And 7 years later, here we are, still off and running.
So that day, walking in the warehouse, how many rows of inventory did you have?
Not many at the time. Well, let me take that back. When I first got there, we had just moved into that facility. So prior to me joining, the entire XPEL company was operating here in San Antonio out of 16,000 square feet. I don't know if you ever went to our Sunset office right by the airport.
No, I didn't go to that one.
So our entire San Antonio footprint was 16,000 square feet. Sales, training, warehouse, the conversion, as well as our executive team. Everybody was in 16,000. My first week, the week before, they had just moved into the warehouse, and we had 30,000 square feet. So we thought we were set for a while. Everything was still on the floor because, we don't have the luxury of stop. It's, hey, we stopped shipping Friday, Saturday, Sunday, move, Monday, we got to start shipping again. So we had tons and tons of inventory, but it was all on the floor. Still trying to put things up, get things counted. It was controlled chaos for a little while.
When you started, it was mainly shipping paint protection film.
That's right. It was mainly paint protection film. Obviously, was the bread and butter at the time. XPEL had just started getting into the window film, but our window film footprint was minimal.
And the boxes of paint protection film take up quite a bit of room.
Absolutely.
So when you were looking at all this organization and 30,000 square feet, how did you design in your head like the best utilization of space?
Yeah, so I think step one was hire the right people, right? Hire the subject matter experts that can help us lay out the facility in a way that's going to maximize our space.
How'd you find that person?
Google. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, Ryan, I'm sorry. I don't know how to design the space. I'm going to Google. Please help me lay out.
That's right. So we hired a couple consultants to come help us lay out the facility and the racking. So obviously, when you're dealing with the product, as you know, very big, very bulky, a lot of weight. So we had to make sure, we designed the warehouse from a safety standpoint with the right clear height, with the right weight, et cetera, et cetera. So hired some consultants to help us get organized, get situated. And then, through the process of day-to-day work and actually working through the shipping, the distribution, you start making tweaks to, the original plan.
So take me through the process. I'm Mike Burke. I've got Sunstoppers. Hi, this is XPEL. I order film. She takes my order. Pop, pop, pop. Where does that order go from like the origination? Like I see in the office here, there's people taking orders. Where does that order go?
Yeah, so everything that we do here at XPEL, it's all real time. So whether Mike Burke enters his order through our website, whether he calls his sales rep, or whether he emails his order to our customer service team, as soon as that order gets entered into our ERP system, it automatically drops in the queue for our distribution team.
When you say queue, is there like big monitors out there that people see, or is there like a print ticket? Like at a restaurant, you got the person at the front counter taking your order, and then in the back you get like the printed order, and the guy puts them like in the queue. Like, walk me through that. Like I need a visual.
Yeah, so picture everything's done in our ERP system.
ERP stands for?
Enterprise Resources Provider.
Got it.
So everything is in our ERP system, and we get a list of all the orders for the day. So we have one fulfillment manager whose number one purpose at XPEL is to make sure that every order that gets entered ships the same day. So what he's doing, he's managing that queue. And the way we're set up here in San Antonio is we have two shipping teams. We have a small parcel shipping team, and they're the team members that are shipping individual packages. So anybody that orders 1 or 2 rolls of tint, anything that's not going on a pallet, they're in charge of. And then we've got our LTL, less than truckload, and our full truckload team. And anything that goes on a pallet, they're responsible for shipping. So to your earlier question, order comes in, our fulfillment manager prints that order, right? Hands it to the picker. He's going to go walk the 30 aisles of inventory.
Walks.
Yeah, he's going to walk. We've designed our warehouse to where 80% of our inventory is going to be within the first 7 rows, right? So we know based off our order volume, our high movers, et cetera. So as soon as that order goes into our ERP system, we're going to print a pick ticket, assign it to the picker, and then within that print ticket, it's going to have the SKU, where it's located in our warehouse, and the quantity. So really for us, verification, step point number 1 is our picker. He's going to go walk the warehouse, grab the items needed for that order, and then drop it off at the shipping table, and then he's off to go get another order. Verification number 2, we have individuals that are not out walking the warehouse. They're strictly there in front of their computer screens, shipping orders. So as soon as that order gets dropped off, they're going to scan the order. They're going to verify. So verification number 2, yep, this customer ordered this film, this roll, check, check, check. They're going to start scanning. And then that scan is going to be verification and final number 3, right? Mike Burke ordered a roll of XUP 6050. I scanned it. Yes, it's a roll of XUP 6050. Shipping label prints out. On to the next.
Wow. During COVID, a lot of shops across the country were complaining of shipping. Can you just, for very briefly, explain to me and the audience that's listening what the problems were during COVID with shipping? Because I think there was a lot of misunderstandings. Yeah,
I think it was a combination of number of things. So first and foremost, I think you had the staffing challenges that the entire United States faced, right? So how do you deal with trying to get people to come into work when they're scared that they could potentially be terminally ill? So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, you're dealing with carriers, FedEx, UPS, et cetera, that face those same kinds of challenges. But you also had carriers that were overwhelmed throughout those year and a half, because you got to remember the entire landscape of buying and ordering shifted, right? Where you had people no longer able to go into a brick and mortar store for a number of different reasons. So now everything started to be ordering online, right? And delivering versus you going into a store and physically buying something. So some of our carriers were overwhelmed. And then number three, you had a lot of disruption in the supply chain, right? Where buying patterns were different. You had different hubs being stopped and closed. So the entire supply chain was being disrupted, where normally, if product would go from 2 different hubs to get to the 10 destination, well, if there's jammed and back up, well, now it's got to go to these other hubs. So shipments that normally would take 2 to 3 days at most, sometimes we're taking 6, 7, 8 days to get delivered. I think what allowed us to continue to be successful is the fact that, despite those challenges, we maintained our inventory positions and to this day never ran out of inventory.
I'm going to ask 2 questions. One's going to be based on inventory, but the other one is, when you freaking started at XPEL, how many staff members did you have in the warehouse?
33.
How many you got today?
Just in San Antonio alone, we've got about 140 people across multiple departments.
And now you have distribution centers in how many states?
So we're global, right? So just in the United States alone, we've got 3 distribution centers. We've got San Antonio, Texas, East Coast, Charlotte, North Carolina, West Coast, Fullerton, California. We've got 3 distribution centers in Canada, 1 in Quebec, 1 in Mississauga, which is a greater Toronto area, and the west coast of Canada, Alberta, Calgary. We've also got distribution centers in Guadalajara, Mexico, in the UK, in the Netherlands, Taiwan, Australia, and more coming soon.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you see the potential for growth overseas is crazy? Because when I've traveled overseas, I think to myself, XPEL is in other countries what XPEL was here 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Huge. And I think if you listen to Mr. Pape, our president, CEO, part of our corporate initiative is to continue to get product close to the customer. And when you think about the customer buying behavior, going back to what we were talking about earlier, our product is big, it's expensive, it takes up a lot of shelf space. So the expectation that our customers have of us is same day shipping, right? If I place that order because I got a tint this back window and I don't have the right tint, I don't have the right width, or I don't have that specific VLT, XPEL, I need it tomorrow to get this car out and collect on the ticket. So amplify that, if I'm trying to ship from the United States somewhere else, it's a lot more expensive. You got duties and tariffs, and it's going to take longer. So as we look at our growth opportunities, the international market is something that we have invested heavily in, and we see the return of that because, by having a presence there, it allows us to serve our customers better, faster, and in turn, they're growing.
So getting back to inventory, how do you project month to month or quarterly how much product to keep in inventory?
I think that is the hardest job in any company.
I believe that.
The demand planning and forecasting. So your question is, it's all of the above. So we have a specific demand planning and forecasting team with some amazing talent. And what they're doing is they're taking all of our historical data and saying, all right, based off however many months of trend, here's what, here's how much we've sold, here's how much we've produced. They work with our sales leaders to say, hey, based off what we did, based off what you guys are doing and you think you're going to continue to do, this is how much inventory we need to buy, right? And then you amplify that with purchasing the different raw materials, sourcing the product from different locations. They got to factor in lead times, minimum order quantities, et cetera. But all that gets baked into our demand planning and forecasting.
Well, you see growth in now the chemical side. I see you're carrying the car care products. That means more shelf space that you didn't have before.
Right.
And is that new warehouses? Do you have the space to keep growing other products?
Yeah. So, we make sure that as we move into different locations all over the world, we leave enough space for growth. As we go into new markets, everywhere we've ever gone, we've grown organically because, our customers have more access to our product portfolio than they normally would through a distributor.
Are there any new products coming out soon that you're making room for? Because I know the windshield film is coming. I know that's, is there different colored PPFs, I think, maybe coming down the route?
Yeah, so right now we're focused on the launch of our windshield protection film. We're very, very close. More information to come there in terms of the launch, but we've got 2 products. We're going to be launching a TPU version as well as a PET version.
To the listeners, say those terms in elementary terms.
So the TPU, think about paint protection for your windshield. On the PET side, think about it as clear tint for your windshield, right? 2 different products that are going to give you and your windshield the same different levels of protection, and it really going to come down to price point, installation preferences, and then UV rejection.
I know that I've installed many windshield films, different manufacturers. I know Chris West and was developing and working with the team of a paint protection style applications for easier installation.
Yeah.
Is that still in the works? Or?
Yeah, that's going to be our TPU version. It's going to be very, very simple to install. You're going to get that clear vision, clear optics to be able to see through. And we're actually working with our design team, designing new vehicles now to be able to support that.
That's why I asked that question.
There you go. There you go.
A lot of guys, they read, they hear, they're on the Facebook groups, the chat rooms. They're like, hey man, XPEL said that they were coming out with this film. What kind of film? Is it going to be just like everybody else's? Yeah. No, it's not going to be like everybody else's. You're going to be unique and different.
It's going to be it's going to be unique, and really one of the things that we take a lot of pride in is our product portfolio. And a lot of times, a conversation I have with a lot of my peers is, hey, you're not moving fast enough, right? You got to launch it. We got to get it out. But, part of our job is to take a step back and really make sure we are looking at it from all angles, right? So let's take the windshield film as an example. Well, that's going on the outside of your windshield, and that's what you're looking through. So we've got to make sure that we provide as clear optics as possible. We need to make sure that product has gone through a variety of internal and external testing, both on the product side as well as on the safety side. And then part of that too is making sure that, before we launch something, we get it in the hands of our customers to get their feedback, right? Last thing we want to do is launch a product we think is good. We get it out to our installers, say, guys, this is horrible. So we've really spent a lot of time and trying to be a lot more proficient in our launches, getting the product to some of our installers all over the world ahead of time to say, hey, tell us why you like it. Tell us if you don't like it, what could you do better? And so factoring all of that, as well as the safety training, et cetera. And then not only do you have to launch the product, but you got to make sure you have all the ancillary things to support that, right? Do I need a new squeegee? We were just talking about squeegees, right? Do I need a different type of heat gun to help shrink it if I'm doing the PET version? So all of that, along with the warranty program, et cetera, is why sometimes you hear a lot of buzz in the industry on new products coming out, but we want to make sure it's ready to go.
Vinyl. A lot of the Cybertrucks. I wasn't really doing any vinyl wraps myself in Sunstoppers. We now are doing a few select stores are now doing the color change for the Cybertruck. Seems to be a whole new marketplace for colors. Is that an area that you guys are going to eventually get into, the wrap material?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that our product team is looking at right now, actually. So we're actually in the process of looking at, I'll start first on the colored paint protection side. We recently sent a survey to a little bit over 450 of our global customers asking for feedback specific to the colored films, right? Trying to understand what they're using, what they're not using, what challenges they see in the market. So our focus right now is on the colored film side, in parallel, also looking at vinyl, right? And also looking at what opportunities are there.
I know we have a gloss black.
Mm-hmm.
When's the matte coming out?
Soon.
Soon.
So there's a couple different versions of matte. You've got the gray matte, the black matte. We're trying to finalize now our color portfolio. Typically 20 or so colors make up 80% of the market. So we're finalizing that now, and then making sure we're ready to launch when we do.
I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're super busy, but I've got 2 more questions. Walk me through a day walking in the door today, okay? But also go back in time and walk me through a day 7 years ago. Because I think it's really important for people to understand what your role was 7 years ago.
Sure.
Maybe start there. Maybe
Yeah.
start from the past and go, okay, when you walked into work 7 years ago, after you got the warehouse up and running, your team's developed, you kind of, feel like you can take a breather at like 10, you're drinking some coffee going, okay, walk me through that period of time and then walk me through today's period of time.
Yeah. I think 7 years ago, my day was very tactical in nature. Do we have the right inventory? Do we have enough staff members to support the growth? Making a lot of tactical decisions around how much inventory is going to the different warehouses, et cetera, making sure, we're focused on how much paint protection did we convert today? How many orders do we have? It was very tactical in nature. I think my position now is a lot more strategic in nature, meaning I've got amazing leaders that focus on the day-to-day tactical side. What I'm focused on is a little bit about what we just talked about around what new products do we need to launch in the market? What is the voice of customer saying around our current product portfolio, and how do we make that better, right? And then one of the things that I try and spend at least an hour a day is focusing on what are the gaps that we currently have, and what are the negative impacts our customers have of us, right? So we're never going to ship 100% of all orders same day, right? Something's going to happen. I'm going to be back ordered on one item,
Not to cut you off, what is the cutoff? The time?
So for us, the cutoff is 4:00 in the afternoon, but we're shipping up until 6:30, 7:00 at night. We've grown so much that FedEx, UPS, they just drop off trailers, said, we'll pick it up at the end of the day, and off we go. But we process hundreds and hundreds of orders a day. We ship product all over the world. I want to hear from our customers, from our team, where we didn't meet customer expectations so that we can focus on solving those gaps. And I think that's the biggest difference in my role, is being less tactical, being more strategic, and more focused on what we need to do to continue to earn the trust of our customers.
So today your role is totally different than really what it was 7 years ago?
It is. 7 years ago, we didn't have the distribution centers we did. We do now. We've added more departments underneath our operational umbrella to just help us be more strategic, help us make decisions as a company faster. So a lot more responsibility over the past couple of years.
Carlos, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And this is XPEL's internal get to know the staff of XPEL.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Good talk.
See you.